Keller Williams Arizona Realty brings you Ignite 2.0, session number 7, Find and Win Buyers with Cody Riddle.
Well, thank you for that really very fabulous introduction. My goodness, I hope I can live up to it. I'm going to ask all of you if you will please let me see your faces. Like, it's so much better if I can see your faces. Oh my goodness. Thank you, Keith, so much for that. Let me mute my phone. So first, you guys, okay, so she asked me to tell you a little bit about my business. Yes. I've been doing this for 21 years, so I know I don't look like I'm old enough to do it for 21 years, right? But I've been doing it for a very, very long time. Now, I hear people say that to me a lot, and yet they close maybe 3-4 deals a year. So that to me is not, that's not 21 years in the business. This is 21 years of this is my full-time way I have provided for my family. We've been building a team now and moving in that direction, and it's just exciting as heck when you get the right people and you're just a big family and it works really, really, really well. We are the #1 team in the Cave Creek area, so in 85331, we've been the #1 team since 2015, something I have worked very, very hard for, and I kind of feel like I'm the witch on Snow White. You look in MLS, am I still the #1? Am I still the #1? Am I still? And I'm always checking it because it's something that you don't get to stay there. Everybody's vying for that position. So you have to keep upping your game and keep doing better and better to stay in that spot. So it's something that motivates me and keeps me doing the work every day. So everybody needs a why, and that's a little bit of my why. So what I want to do first before we hit it is just have you guys tell me something good. Tell me something good about yourself or what's going on in your world, whether it's your business or personal, and introduce yourself. I would love to hear from all of you and kind of touch base a little bit more personally, if that's okay. I'll just go down on my list. Victoria, how about you? Go first.
Sorry, I'm multitasking. We're turning in homework.
Something good is making caramel corn.
Right, making caramel corn. Got a couple rentals done. Working on finishing up the other application today. So getting my feet wet that way while I'm staying at home with the kids and being a homeschool teacher, apparently. So yeah, everything's good. Things are moving in the right direction.
I love it. And I salute you on that homeschooling. My kids are 17 and 19, completely, they got their thing going on themselves, thank goodness. So good stuff. James, how about you? You're muted and I see a door.
You do. My camera's not very good, so I don't use it. But anyway.
What is that from? What movie is that from?
You know, I don't think it's from a movie. I think it was just a photo that I thought was kind of cool. I'll put that up for my screen.
No, it's from a movie. It's from that one where everybody's watching him in his life. Oh, I'll think of it. Go ahead.
Sky, you thinking? I don't know. I'm not sure. Anyway, so yeah, just working on, I'm doing a couple open houses this weekend, working on my database, working on my farm area. Just trying to hammer away to get people to respond, you know, both socially and business-wise. So no big wins yet. I had a buyer who couldn't qualify. I've had a couple of leads that haven't gone very far, but, you know, just trying to get more traction. So just keep hammering away.
Good for you, James. And that picture is from the Truman Show.
Ah, okay, very good.
Yes, I had to Google it. I confess, I had to Google it.
Nicely done. Now I know.
Thank you.
That was before the Kardashians, and actually it had the same concept about 20 years before they ever came online.
Totally. So good. Eric Whedon, how about you? You're up.
Hi. Yeah. Well, I got up early this morning, and I've been learning Facebook ads, so that's my thing. with the crisis going on, it seems like a great way to connect with people. So I might be running a couple different ads at the same time, but I think that's an interesting thing. It's a good thing for me.
Yeah, yeah, that is very much. I love it. Sonia, and you're muted if you don't know.
I was trying to get unmuted, sorry.
No, you're good, you're good.
Okay, hello, good morning. Let's see, something good. I am currently hoping today I'm gonna sign a listing. So that's it, that's my good thing for today.
That is good news. That's great news.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for sharing. I'd love to see your face if you don't mind, but I understand if you don't want to. Keith, you're up.
Walked 5 miles this morning and have already been on another webinar, and I have my 45 things on my to-do list for the day, so let's go.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, you got more done than most people do all day before 8 a.m. Way to go, Keith. Love that. Leilani, you're muted.
She might be listening. Okay, I was gonna say she might just.
Good morning, everyone. What am I supposed to tell you?
Just something good. Tell me something good.
Something good? Well, I was up last night trying to complete the Code of Ethics class. I still have to finish that today. It's a 2-hour class, apparently. And I do have a lot on my plate today. I have signed up for Armless, and I'm still trying to look for classes for orientation to how to use the MLS. So that's where I'm at right now. And I met with Jackie yesterday, and I'll be working on my spreadsheet today. And she said add 12 more people today. So I got my plate full today.
Good. Keep trucking down that path to success. That's awesome.
And something good about Leilani is this is her 3rd day with us. So that is.
Yes, this is just my 3rd day.
So she is jumping right in, just like she.
I know I'm showing dark here. My face is dark.
That's okay.
That's awesome. I will tell you why. It's because of the window behind you. If you shut that completely down,
it's really bright.
Okay, who else? Ambika.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So, yes, I can turn on my video for a second if you want to see my face. I'm walking my dog.
I do want to see your face.
Hold on, I'm trying to see how to turn this on. Okay, I apparently can't because I'm on my phone.
Okay.
But I have been working on my database yesterday and today, this morning. I feel like it made sense when Jackie said I need to improve the health of my database. It doesn't look very good, the health. So I'm getting there. You know, I'm at 50%. So we'll see how that goes today.
Good job. Okay, awesome. I'm just going to say one thing. It does not need to be perfect. Just get the people in there, get a phone number, get contact info. My database is about 12,000 people strong. So it is far from perfect, but it's there and the drips are there and it's going. So good stuff.
And with so much possibility with command, you know, I would like to use that whole opportunity right there for myself to get some leads.
I'm telling you, where you guys are in the business that I'm hearing, and you start command out from the beginning, holy moly, you're in great shape. It's a tough go to take them to move that amount of people from ours into command, and yeah, do it from there. You are so lucky. so lucky.
Thank you.
I love it. Yes. Carrie.
Hello. Sorry I don't have my video on, but I just got out of the shower. I have an appointment at 11, so I'm naked, so I don't think you guys want to see that.
Okay, fair enough.
That is awesome. Thing that for me is the last like week and a half. I've been setting my alarm 2 hours earlier than normal. As with this whole Corona thing, I've gotten lazy and slept in. So I've been getting up 2 hours earlier, and I've been doing a lot of the training things I've done, like in the MLS. So I was really bad with computers before. I'm still not great, but like I'm really learning a lot. Like I didn't think I would be able to do, and I'm pretty proud of myself. I'm getting comfortable with it now. So
I love that. That was so real. Thank you for that. That was awesome share. Let's see where we at. Eric Whedon.
Oh, he's shared already. He's just on 2 devices for
Oh,
sale.
that's right. He's on 2 devices. Sorry, Eric. I see you in the other one. Dan.
Hi. So we're talking about what is good about today.
Yep. Tell me something good.
I have a referral buying a nice house, I should say, in the San Francisco area. So, and I made a deal with the agent. We're gonna be 50-50 split. So, which is a good thing.
That's a really good thing. Holy crap.
Yeah. Hopefully get a deal done today. Yep.
Yeah, good for you. Okay, and Christina, I think, is that the last one?
Yeah.
Yep, Christina.
Hi. I think my big thing that I've been doing that I think is good is I've been going through all my contacts in my database, and I'm trying to put tags on all of them.
Nice.
And then also I made these little neighborhood farming flyers, and my plan is I got them all together, and my son and I are going to go just drop them off on people's front doors tomorrow.
That's that away. I put my boys to work during this COVID thing too.
Well, mine's only 8. He'll be 9 on Monday, so he still likes helping. He thinks that helping mommy work is the greatest thing ever. So.
Oh my gosh, that is so awesome. Mine ask how much they're going to get paid. So that's awesome, Christina. Use it while you can. Good stuff.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay, you guys. So yeah, we're finding and winning buyers today. So let's dive right in. I'm going to share my screen, and it is just an awesome, which you guys probably have been seeing with everybody else. So I'm just going to share that. But if you have questions or you want to chat with some, Jackie, you got that, right?
Yep, I got
She'll
the
be
chat.
looking at that. Whatever it is, raise your hand, chat in there. Because yeah, I do want to get it to be personal for you. So ask specific questions to yourself and your business, and I can progress you forward if you do that. Otherwise, I'm just going to be going down this path. This is good information, but it will spark some questions, I hope, for each of you, and let me know what those are. Okay, share screen.
Awesome.
Okay, you guys see it?
We can see it.
Okay, good stuff. Let's get rolling. Okay, so I remember talking about this in the last one too, Ignite. They all start like this. What successful agents do every day. And I can absolutely attest, this is what's going on every single day, all the time in our business. And growing the business and running the business. I find myself, you're just inundated with running the business, doing all those things that are needing to be done right now. But if you forget to grow and do your lead gen and add people to your database and focus on the growth part, you have a successful month, and then you have 2, 3, 4 months of nothing. So you have to find that time blocking ability to do both of these regularly. And I think that's such a, I learned it the hard way. I mean, I'd kick butt, did really, really well, and then all of a sudden, didn't have anything. And so it really was something I had to get disciplined on, that I hope you guys take this grow and run your business to heart right now. You are early in your career, and it would be awesome if you just did it right from the get-go.
Cody,
Okay.
Can you tell them, and I don't know if you were going to, but can you tell them a little bit about your schedule, especially the morning? I think it's one of the things I remember when I first met you, and I just so respect you for it. about
Thank you.
time block.
So our mornings are from 8 to 10 for me, and for 8 to 11 for our agents. That is call time. That's smile and dial call time. That's lead gen, lead gen, lead gen. You don't schedule anything inside that protected time. That is truly protected time. And they'll ask me, inevitably, an agent will ask me, okay, well, what if I have a buyer that just has to see homes at 9 a.m. on Thursday? It's like, okay, well, you can say, hey, do you have anything available on Thursday or on Thursday in the afternoon or Friday in the afternoon, and suggest it. Don't let them run your business. Do not be reactionary to what every single, or no, not every single, to the one buyer that you have this week. Do not let your entire business be run by that one buyer. You have call time from 8 to 11 on Thursday morning. That is your business. So you find another time to meet that client for showings or their listing appointment. I have all my listing appointments time blocked in the afternoon and all my call time in the morning. This business is reactionary if you don't make it, what's the opposite of reactionary? If you don't make it that, it will be reactionary your whole life, and you will just react to everybody else's needs and you will have no life. So you have to have that time blocking space, and you got to have your time to be free and for yourself too. It's very, very important, and that's the way you will get there faster, and it will feel very boring, and boring is good. Boring is really good. I hate boring, and that took me a long time to learn that. It was the last thing I wanted or am, and you have to be just strict about it. So yeah, thank you, Jackie, for allowing me to share that, because it is so important.
Hey, Cody.
Yes.
Just dig a little deeper on the calling for the 2 or 3 hours. Are you strictly doing your database, and have you changed your calling approach during this time period at all? What you're talking about or how you're talking to your database?
Okay, for the first question, it would, so I said about being boring, right? I can't have it be boring. So I have to do the time is correct and I'm making the calls is correct, but maybe Monday, Tuesday, I'm calling my database. Then Wednesday, I'm going to do business to business relationships. So I focus on those. Then on Thursday, I'm going to do circle prospecting in my farm. That might be Thursday. And each of those has a different flair to it so that I don't get bored. So that hopefully answers that first question. Then the second question is, what am I talking about? So I am all business. I am all business and all sales. So I had a really hard time like stopping myself from doing what I normally do and instead say, first and foremost, how are you? How are you doing around this coronavirus? I hope you're healthy and well. And that's how I start every conversation now, because I have to stop myself from diving right into real estate and offending people, right? Like there's a whole big pandemic going on and I'm moving forward with business. So it's super, super important that I start out with that. But I will tell you guys, and I want you to really hear this, not everybody thinks this is the end of the world. I mean, people are moving. I have written 4 listings this week. That is amazing. I mean, these people are moving. 2 offers came in this week. So it is like, so the activity in our business is even making it harder for me to focus on the phone and ask that question first. How are you doing? I trust that you're healthy and well. Now, what can I do to help you? Now, where do you need to go with real estate? Because it's just happening. And so that, and I think I say the opinion varies so much on the spectrum of this COVID that
Cody, we got you frozen here for a second. I think you're still frozen. Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you, but I can't hear Cody anymore.
Okay. Hold on. Let's give her a second. I'm going to send her a quick text in case she can't hear me. Second. Thanks for being patient, guys. We'll give her a second. Might just have her. I mean, okay, we've been in for what, like 10 or 15 minutes, and I already have so many things, so many takeaways, right? Which I think is awesome. Great. I think she's jumping off and coming back on. So we'll give her a second. But I love those questions, James. And I think I liked what I'm a big, you guys that know me know my like elementary school, you can't take the theme out of me. So I love that she kind of themes her week, right, with lead generation, how she has certain people that she calls on certain days. And I kind of think about that with Facebook and social media too. Like we tend to, you know, if you've ever heard me talk about that, we talk about certain themes or certain types of posts on certain days. And like she said, you know, it's boring in the fact of, okay, she knows she's calling from that time, and she's calling this certain group of people, but it's leading her to her success, right? And kind of same thing that I felt, you know, with the social media and things like that. I think there's so much truth to that. And one of the reasons I asked Cody to share her schedule with you guys in the morning is because when I first met Cody, she's also a member of our ALC. So if you guys didn't know that, when I first met her, we were talking about classes and training schedule and things like that in the market center. And the first thing she said to me was, I don't think any classes should start before 11 o'clock because that's when we need to all be doing our lead gen. And I knew at that time, I'm like, she clearly, like, so smart. She knows what she's doing. She's getting that big rock, right? Like she told you, she is #1 in Cave Creek. She does so much business, but she is calling and lead generating first thing every day. So I think that's definitely something, a huge takeaway that we should have. So what I think I might do, you guys, with your permission, as she's trying to come back on, I think I might show you a little bit of the command I was going to show you. And then when Cody comes back on, we'll jump back to her and I can go back to command. Are you guys okay with that? Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, James. I'm going to let you speak for the group.
I'm good with it.
I just needed one yes and I'm charging on. Oh, hold on one second. Let me.
Well, when she comes back too, Jackie, can we dig deeper into like how long her conversations are? You know,
yes.
Because I know she's got a database from 21 years, so she's got clients she's closed, you know, 15 years ago. She's still calling, but for her newer people, who are they working constantly above and beyond the database, and does she count, you know, door knocking and door hanging and things like that as part of her, you know, more? Is it strictly phone?
I love that, and we definitely will. I'm just sending her the link. She's just trying to get back on, so I'm trying to give her a different way to get back on.
Thank you.
Okay. She is trying, and my text is doing there we go. Just kind of hold it out there. Okay. Yes, and James, when she gets back on, I love that. I am going to go into, what do I have going on here? Tried to close some of my tabs down today. Okay. All right, so today's portion of command, we were going to briefly go over and you guys, if she comes back on and doesn't announce herself, tell me if someone sees her, because I can't see everybody. We were going to talk about the opportunities phase. So we're going to briefly go over this. The handshaking applet over here on the left, this is called opportunities. And this is where you are going to store all of your transactions. If everyone, let's just put it this way, the easiest way to say this is everyone needs to use opportunities in order to get paid. Okay, perfect. Cody, we gotcha.
OMG, I am so sorry.
It's okay. We pivoted, right? And we're pivoting back and we're good. And
the buzzword of the year, pivoting.
And you know what? James had some really great follow-up questions for you in terms of what you said. So James, can you dive back into those? Because I think they were excellent questions.
Sorry, Cody. So yeah, just going a little deeper too. I mean, for you, you have 21 years of clients and people you've done business with and people that you're reaching back out to see after 10 years. Hey, are you ready to move again? Are you thinking about moving? You know, for us that are kind of new to the business, and we have a database of people that, you know, we're kind of contacting, and they're not super responsive. They're not really, you know, they're not doing anything right now. No, I don't know anybody that's ready to do. No, I'm not doing anything. And then you kind of want to keep hitting them, but not to the point where, you know, you're beating them to death. And so then I went out and got farm areas, and I'm trying to start contacting those people. Just to have a whole new base to kind of work on. But I was just wondering, like, how do you, you know, how long your conversations and with newer people, how do you treat that? How do you deal with, you know, getting in the door with those people?
Okay, so when I consider somebody my sphere, right, that's just sphere. That doesn't mean they're buying and selling a house, but they are my sphere. So with them, I call once a quarter. So I'm not hitting them once a month. I'm not hitting them every week. I call them once a quarter, and there is, that in and of itself is a system. That's it. They're there until they become I raise my hand, I want to sell. Then they fall into a hot nurture or watch, which we'll get to here later in this thing, in this presentation. But so that helps that. Then where Jackie said, you got to add 12 more people to your database. You need to do that. And I don't do 12 in a day. I do 12 every week. So constantly I'm adding new people to that database because, James, I'm going to get bored hearing myself if I talk to the same people over and over. Like, I agree with you. So you have to figure it out and get out there. Now, this time where everybody's kind of inside, you're going to have to hit the phones in a big way and probably even start cold calling, like circle prospecting in your neighborhood. There is something you have in common with those people. You live in their neighborhood. So get that list and start down that path. Business to business, those are great calls right now. They're suffering. They want to talk to people. My business is like, we're doing well. I don't want to come across, hey, we're doing great. How you doing? No, how are things going? What can I do to help you in your business? And then share a little bit about mine. And that's what keeps the conversation exciting for me too. Otherwise I would just be, I agree with you. It'd be painful as anything. So finding those different lists that give you some different energy to have a conversation around and continually adding those people, because you're right. In a cold list, you're going to have to call about 100 people, 100 dials to maybe get one person to say hello and give you their information. That's deep. That's a deep, deep, deep day of calling and getting just punched in the face left and right. And you better be strong. You better be able to do it, because that's the way you survive. And that's the way you become an agent that's successful in this business, is by doing that hard work. And most will not do it. They just can't handle it. And I don't mean that rude, guys. It's just a fact. That's what's going to make agents successful. And hopefully that answers your question, yeah?
Yes, that's very good. I was just trying to get back to like your early days when you were first starting out. You would, you know, hit your big successes, and then you said you took a little break and you would enjoy the success, and then you go back to working real hard again. But like in the initial stages, what was your focus when you were hitting back in the early days, as opposed to now when you have, you know, such a great established machine?
Yeah, it was, I remember this so well. Open houses were a very big deal for me. I was in the golf business before I did real estate, and I was an average at best golfer. And I taught golf, but because of my personality, and this is no lie, because of my personality, I had a list of people to teach golf to every day. I was out there on the lesson tee all day making great money, $100 an hour I was charging for teaching golf. It was the coolest thing ever. My mom hands me a buyer in real estate. I took him out and made one heck of a check that would have taken a lot of hours on the lesson tee to do. And so real estate was like, that's it, I'm doing real estate. Well, it was embarrassing to leave the golf business to me, because I had worked really hard. And so I kind of tiptoed away and I didn't tell that world. I didn't bring them into my sphere. I didn't make them part of my database. I was literally like embarrassed. So I walked away, and it was ground zero. I had to figure it out. And from there, it was open houses to a very large level. My mother was a brilliant businesswoman. The name of our company was AAA1 Realty, which created the phone to ring because we were the first in the phone book back then. And that is it's completely irrelevant today, but at that time the phone did ring to us, fairly considerable. And I was sitting next to a freaking giant in sales. My mother was the best of the best. She door-to-door sold insurance for years. This woman could sell ice to an Eskimo. And all I did was listen. I listened to her, and I did answered those calls, and I did open houses. And I have a huge personality. I smile all the time. I make people feel good about themselves. I'm happy all the time, and any frustration would not be in front of anybody. It would be, back with her and someone I could work that with. And this, I don't know if this is the right place or time, but that is like the benefit of having a mentor, someone that really, really is there for you. We do, team-wise, we do that for our agents. It's a big, big deal to be there and to listen to a pro online or on the phone, work those phones. It's awesome. And I think you can learn a whole lot just listening, right? For one day listening, and you're just like, oh my gosh, my mind is totally blown, because it's just a different mentality and and that just comes from years. But at the beginning, yeah, I was willing to do anything and everything, and I did, and I worked hard, and I closed deals, lots of them. And so my mom always said, you're doing so well. I didn't know what well meant. We didn't have a big KW to compare myself to. I just did what she said, and I worked hard. I just was all in it for the money. I just wanted to make great money. Like, that's it. And so that's it. Hopefully that helps, James, yeah?
Definitely does. Thank you, Cody.
Okay, you're welcome. Okay, let's try sharing the screen again. Hopefully I don't lose you guys. Sorry about that. Okay, so we talked about growing and running the business, and then what we're going to focus on today is lead generating for buyers and sellers, but it's mostly buyers. Finding the buyer. Okay, so I'm a big D on the disc personality, and D's, we like stats. I love stats. So finding the buyers, 89% of the buyers are going to purchase their home through a real estate agent. That is just phenomenal news. That's all I need to hear. We're off and running then. Now it's just a matter of they're going to choose me, right? 41% of those buyers found their agent through a referral from friends or family. So you guys, my referral base, my SOI now is about 800 people. That's a massive, so remember I told you, I call them once a quarter. That's a lot of calls every quarter, but that is the absolute truth. Our percentage of our GCI, our gross commission income, is right around that 41% that we make from that pillar of business only. There are tons of agents that say I do all my business through referral. And while I'm like, okay, that's awesome, and I check their business and they sell 5 or 6 homes a year. It's like, okay, well, that could be 40% of your business, and you could go sell 12 more by working those other pillars to hit a lot more, but they just don't want to do the work. It comes back to just getting out and doing the work, having those conversations with new people that aren't your sphere. 75% interview only one real estate agent. Now this speaks volumes when you start paying for leads. I think Eric, you said you're doing Facebook stuff. If those people call you, you better be speed to lead and get right back to them within the first 5 minutes, because if not, there are 15 other agents that are all over them, because clearly those people are online doing stuff. So very important, speed to lead. They will pick you just because you're the first person they spoke with. And then the last one, open houses. I'm no doubt they work. And then I've had agents on our team say, open houses don't work, and they've done 2. So, okay, well, do a year worth of open houses and then tell me that they don't work. Nothing comes fast. It takes effort, and it takes work, and it takes consistency, right? That's a big, big deal. So I love these. I love sharing these with people. It's awesome that they're on this. Okay, cultivating a buyer lead. Okay, so this is where command can really do great for you. You guys gotta find the people, which means you've captured them. Really get in a real good habit of asking for phone numbers and email addresses with everybody you know. Get all the good contact information and capture them. And now they are called a lead. And a lead is, I told you, I got 10,000 plus. Do I sell 10,000 homes a year? No. So that I have a gazillion people in there that are leads. Well, now I got to turn those leads into contacts. So if any of you have taken bold, that is a great place to just, your head has to be around contacts. How many contacts can you have in a week? And then how many contacts does it take for you to set an appointment, a listing appointment or a buy-side appointment, one or the other? But what we say on our team is it takes 20 contacts to set an appointment. I'm down now to, it takes me about 5 contacts to set an appointment. That's the difference in conversion of your ability to get just better and better and better. But it's also your ability to take that conversion rate and say, okay, how many people do I need to talk to make $100,000 this year? And you can take it all the way from the bottom, all the way to what you need to do every day to know if you won your day or not. And that's the way I like to break it down, because then it's not this big gigantic goal. It's just a daily goal that I have to do that will help me make $100,000 a year. If that's your goal, whatever your goal monetarily is. Okay, so then you take your leads, you work and you connect, you work on connecting with them. That's what you're doing during that call time, right? You make those contacts and you cultivate those contacts, or you set an appointment. Every single person in your database needs to be in command and needs to be on a smart drip plan, and do not rely on the smart drip plan to do the work for you. It's just a touch point. You have to still call. But it is a really important thing that you do have them on there. When I call people in my database and I say, hey, this is Cody, they're like, oh yeah, I know you. It's because I've hit them a gazillion times from every direction. I've hit these people. So it really matters. So putting them on those drip campaigns or touch programs, I think they're called action-based touch programs in command. And then down here, it's just getting to that appointment, set that appointment, set that appointment. And once you set the appointment, you better be really prepared to do a phenomenal buyer presentation. So have it prepared, have it ready, and that's where you get loyalty. And we're going to talk about loyalty a little bit later in the slides. But you set your appointment, you actively work, you get them under contract, and you close. And this all has to happen while you never, ever miss your 2 to 3 hours of prospecting every single morning. Okay, moving on. Any questions? Let us know. Okay, this is where it's asking to practice and add yourself to a smart plan. Because we lost that time in I think it was my internet that just went down.
We've done it. Don't
yeah.
worry.
Okay, good.
And I covered command, so you're okay.
Okay, that's good. And that you do want to have yourself in there and put yourself on a smart drip and just see what's happening and how it looks to your people. Okay, qualifying these buyer leads. Okay, this is where I was talking about hot, nurture, watch. I don't call them A, B, and C. I call them hot, nurture, and watch. You can call them A, B, and C, whatever works best for you. A hot or A buyer is an able, ready, and willing person that's ready to buy in the next 30 days. The B, or in our case, nurture, these are able and ready to buy, but they're not ready right now. They will be ready in the next 90 days. And then C is our watch group, and that is outside the 90 days. They're not ready, but they are talking to me. They're having conversations with me. They're willing to be open. They are on a watch list, and they're outside the 90 days up to about a year. We build a database, like, yes, I have 10,000, but my personal database of that 10,000 is 100. I am focused on 100 people on a regular basis, always, 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 always. And so as I talk to those other lists, if somebody is more powerful and I can pull them into my 100, then maybe one of those weaker ones, I get rid of the weaker one, put them out in the drip campaign, and stay on my 100. There is a book out there, gosh, I can't remember. The Ultimate Sales Machine. And that book he will tell you that a human cannot manage a database outside of 100. So yes, while we have all these thousands of people, they're on drip campaigns and there's farms that I have, but those are all, they're not me doing that. That's mailers and drip campaigns and stuff like that. The most I am even expecting myself to manage and call and make sure they're taken care of very well are 100. And then we narrow that 100 down to our sweet 16, we call them. Our sweet 16 are our next 16 paychecks. And of those 16, the bottom 4 are going to fall out. They won't buy from you. They'll have a change of plans. It's not anything you did. It's just life changes. Then those other 12, they're going to be pretty good. The top 8 will buy, and that 4 in between, those are just people that are kind of, they probably will. But as long as you keep staying with your 100, your sweet 16 is going to keep being more and more powerful as you keep making your calls. So there's a method to the madness of all those calls. To your point, James, it's like, I'm not just calling for the sake of calling. I'm calling for building these lists that are strong, really strong, and people that are going to buy. Okay,
Becky,
moving on.
When you first started, you said that you'd make as many as 100 phone calls to get one, and a lot of phone slamming in your ears, things like that. What mindset did you have to keep going through all that?
Money. I wanted to make money. So it just flat out didn't matter. It didn't matter if they hung up on me. I'll find the next one because I need to make money.
Thank you.
There was always a drive for me. I like to make money. I genuinely like the feeling of it. And so it is a driver for me in a big way. Not everybody feels that way either. Like my husband's not that way. He just loves to help people. It's just awesome to him. So we make a really good team because he kind of pulls that money mindset back a little bit, and it really helps. But it was the driver because people could be nasty, right? Like it was brutal. And then I also had my mom sitting there. I mean, who loves you more? Your mother. I mean, my mother has passed away now, and I love her to pieces. But she's the reason for my success. She continued to build me up. I wasn't married to Bill yet, so she continued to build me up. She said, that's par for the course. Don't worry about it. Just keep moving, plugging along. And I did. So it's perseverance, no doubt about it. Now, fast forward to now where I am, there are crappy things that happen. I have like a really anxiety, like, oh, I want to just everything to be awesome. And building a team, you have to let go of things, and you guys have to do it at your level too. And so for me now, I find positive, what is that, like mantras, like positive, constantly telling myself positive feedback is huge, and meditation works, and that keeps me calmer and it helps my mindset stay positive. But that is a battle, James, you'll have always. So get yourself into really good rhythms of doing those things to take care of yourself. Jackie will be the first to say exercise too. Man, I started running and it just helps too, because I still get beat up. Like there's no doubt. I have a way thicker skin now. I call it, I'm virtually bulletproof now when it comes to that kind of stuff, because I just don't care. The next person is right behind them. Listing appointments, if they want to list it too high, that's all right. I mean, we'll either sign this agreement that you're going to do a price reductions at these times, or I'm going to move on, and I'm okay with that because I know I'll have another deal right behind you. You guys don't know that right now. You have to just believe it and know that the actions that you're doing will get you there. Good questions. Okay.
I couldn't see, that was Keith. I have to give him credit because Keith and James are pulling in the big questions. So.
Okay, good job. Very good, you guys. Okay, so the buyer lead sheet, this is a sheet we use too, and it sits in our buyer packets for our agents, and fill out that information when you're on the phone so you just know. But I will tell you, more than anything, it makes you sound like a pro. If you're on the phone just going, what can I do for you? You know, what is it that you need? Just start asking those questions, the real questions. What's happening? Are you pre-qualified? We call this sheet the LP Mama. I think they have it a little different, but The LP is location, is L, price, motivation, do they have an agent, are they pre-qualified for their mortgage, and then set the appointment. So LP Mama. And that's what we teach all of our agents. The minute you get somebody on the phone, you hit the LP Mama right out of the gate. And you just sound like a pro when you start asking the right questions and get after it. And having that right in front of you all the time is huge. You should have that. Okay. Okay, this is kind of weird because we're doing this. So does anybody, like, how do you guys want to do this? Do you want to role play? Do you want to, how do you want to do this?
What if you had a buyer that needed to Zoom with you right now?
Okay, yeah, good question. So the pivot, right? Going back to this market. So I was scared to death that this was going to be another 2008. And 2008, I did not react well. I stayed in bed is basically how I handled 2008 and 9. It was awful. Midlife crisis, I think I would call it for myself. It was horrendous. So this time when this happened, that fear, I took the fear and did exactly the opposite of what I did in 2008. I was on it and on it fast. I was doubling down on our phone calls. All of our agents were, and it was almost exciting. It was another motivation that I didn't have before the pandemic. So it was awesome what happened out of it. That doubling down has proved to be the greatest thing I could have done. Could have done it without the pandemic. I could have done it, but I wasn't motivated. There was no motivation to do it. I knew the business was going to be there. So we doubled down, and all of us learned our buyer presentation on video. I don't do buyers anymore that much in my business. The agents on the team do that, but every one of them had to send me a virtual buyer presentation. And they sent that to me, and then I gave them notes just like a director would, right? Like of a show. I gave them notes on what to fix, and then they have to resend it to me. So they're in their second phase now, and none of them have sent the second grouping yet. They all did their first, and it was great. I learned more about them than anything. I couldn't believe it. Like, one of them wasn't even using our buyer presentation. I'm like, what's going on? That is insanity. We create this gorgeous, amazing buyer presentation for you. So yeah, we learned a lot, but yes, I told them you got to be ready. And I don't feel it out in the world. Like, I don't feel people going, I don't want to meet you, I need to do it on video. I'm not feeling that from buyers. They want to see property still. They're going out there. So our agents are having to make sure they are either wearing a mask or that we open all the doors for them no matter what. They don't touch anything. But we take control of that situation too, and that just makes us look more like a pro also. Hey, listen, I'm gonna open everything for you. Don't touch anything in the house. We're gonna take care of that. Fair enough, and they say fair enough, and we move forward. But yeah, your buyer presentation, we made sure we could do it virtually if needed. Haven't needed it yet, to be honest. Hopefully, does that answer your question, Jack?
Yeah. So if you were to, do you want to just call me and pretend that I'm a buyer for a minute, just how you would take us through a brief role play just on the phone of pre-qualifying someone, maybe that you're calling, and I can just role so they can get an example?
Sure. Okay, ring, 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 ring.
Hello.
Hi there, is this Jackie?
Yes, this is.
Jackie, this is Cody Riddle. Does that name ring a bell for you?
I feel like I keep seeing you pop up in my emails.
Oh my gosh, I am so glad you said that. So yes, I do send those emails out, and I'm just really reaching out to kind of see how you're doing. I know this COVID thing is taking place, and so many thoughts and ideas around it. How are you doing with it?
Oh, thanks for asking. Luckily, we're really blessed. We're healthy. Both the fiance and I still have a job, so we're doing well. How are you?
Oh my gosh. Thanks for asking. Not everybody does ask. Thank you. That's awesome. I am doing great as well. The family is safe and healthy. So you had come in our database, gosh, it was about a year ago now, and I haven't been able to get a hold of you. where are you in your real estate needs? Are you still looking to purchase this year?
You know, funny enough, our rent is up, our lease is up at the end of December.
At the end of December. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we're in May. So probably the best first step is to get qualified. Have you chatted with a lender?
No, not yet.
Okay, do you have anybody that you really like, know, and trust in your lending piece?
Honestly, no. Since we moved out here, I don't have any preferences.
Okay, great. Well, good news. I do. I have an amazing guy I've worked with for 2 years. Actually, I think we're going on 3 years now. And no complaints from our clients. He's been really fantastic. His name's Todd. I would love to have him reach out to you in the next, maybe by the end of the day today or for sure tomorrow. Would that work for you?
Yeah. What do I need to tell him?
Yeah, good question. Since you're not really ready to purchase until December, I don't want you to spend too much time in looking at houses right now that aren't even going to be there when it comes time in December. I'd love to get you on a search so that you can at least look at them from the comfort of your home and kind of watch the market. So we'll do that. And then with Todd, we're just going to see where you are, how much you can qualify for, what's the payment that you prefer. And then you'll know you're no higher than price. And then we can do that search and only go up to that price. There's no sense in looking at homes that are over the price that you're comfortable with. Fair enough?
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay, great. So I'll have Todd call you, and then we'll, you and I will retouch base after you chat with Todd so we can get that search set up. How's that sound?
That sounds great. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you too. Talk to you soon.
Okay. Bye.
And I would get your contact information, of course, and send Todd and all that. And that because she said December, I would not set an appointment with her. I wouldn't set an in front of appointment. I wouldn't. Now, would you guys? Maybe you do that. Maybe you get her in front of you and secure that loyalty even further. I just wouldn't take the time right now because she's not ready until December. So I would set the stage and get her qualified. And let me tell you, she's in the system now. I have a follow-up for her in finding out when Todd's going to call her. So it's either tomorrow or the next day. And I'm going to follow up. And then sometimes you can't get a hold of them for the follow-up, right? And it's like, duh, you're on a path and you can't get a hold of her. So you have to set another follow-up for the very next day. Now, James, it's relentless. I am relentless to get her back on the phone. I will call every single day until I get her back on the phone. So that's because I had the initial agreement that that's what we were going to do. So now it's almost a she owes me kind of thing. I got her the information she needed from Todd, and now she owes us to do that back. And I don't mean it in a rude way. I just mean it that that's the mentality. And she will feel that mentality also. She knows she said she would do that. So now it's just a matter of me following up and keeping it going. But her motivation in May to buy a house in December is probably not that high right now. She's like, I got plenty of time. And she does, really. So it's like we just kind of got to keep down that track. So yeah, that was good, Jackie.
Yeah, Amy, did you have a question? I saw that you raised your hand in the...
I did. I've been running into a lot of problems with clients that want to sell their house, but they're waiting for the market, like to see what the market's doing. And I really don't know how to rebuttal against, like, you know, their fear. They're like, in the next 3 months, like, I have to see what the market does before I make a jump. What do you say?
Okay, so they want to sell their house, Amy?
Yeah, they're renovated. They've been ready to sell until the COVID hit, and now it's like, no, I'm going to hold off until I see what the market does. And a lot of people are saying that, and I don't really know how to confront that, like to make them feel better.
Okay, so let's do role play. You be your seller, and I'll be you.
Okay.
Okay. So ring, 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 ring.
Hello.
Hi, Amy. This is Cody Riddle. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. How are you doing?
I am good. And you know what? I forgot to mention from Keller Williams Arizona Realty. I have to say that.
I know who you are.
I love that. That's so good. So I'm reaching out. You had mentioned you wanted to sell, and I wanted to get that appointment set this week so I could come do a listing appointment, or if you prefer, we could do a virtual listing appointment. What works best for you?
Well, I'm not really ready right now. I'm doing well, but like I said, I was ready to buy and sell a house, but the market, I want to see what the market does, and I'd rather just sit, on my house until I figure out what the market's going to do.
Okay, fair enough. So when you say you're not really sure about the market, what is it that's holding you back? Just the uncertainty?
Just the house prices, and I don't know if the real estate market took a hit. I just don't. I think I'm just gonna hold off until I see what happens the next 3 months.
Okay, great. Amy, you know what? It's very, I'm so glad that I called you, because I can tell you what's happening in the market, so we can take away that uncertainty or that unknown. The market is unbelievably strong right now. The buyer pool went down maybe about 4 to 5%, but the seller supply is down about 56%. So supply and demand is so unbelievably in your favor as a seller that I want you to sell now rather than wait 4 months when we don't know what's going to happen in 4 months. In 4 months, it could be worse for a seller, no doubt. But what we do know is today is amazing for you. And if you are under a $500,000 price range, you're probably going to get multiple offers even. I mean, that's how crazy it is. We just had a $625,000 house that had 2 offers in the first 24 hours. And then we represented a buyer on a $650,000 house, and we were up against multiple offers. So it is crazy good out here right now. And something I really am so glad that I called you so that I could share that with you, because that should put your mind at ease. Yeah.
Well, I'm also looking to buy a house, because once I sell the house, I'm going to need somewhere to go. So I'm also looking to buy as well. And is that going to be an issue?
Yeah, super good question. So here's what I'm in my thought process. If I could sell, I would sell right now. And if I were a buyer and I had to wait I'd like to even wait a couple months, I actually would like to see what happens, because the supply and demand is so out of favor. So is there a place, or is there something that you could do for a couple months after you sell your home before you purchase? Or do you have to sell and buy?
I need a place to move into, so I'd probably I'd be selling, but I'd also be buying.
Okay. So then, yep, no, that's good. So then what we're doing right now with those folks, that because you're not alone, there are so many people that's happening with. So what we're doing is, as a seller, we have so much more leverage. So when a buyer comes in for us, we actually go for a 2-month escrow. So we ask for an escrow that's out 2 months, so that gives you the time to find a home and negotiate once we're through the inspections on your house. Because your leverage is not real good if you have a home that's just sitting on the market, right? But once it's under contract and through inspections, your leverage as a buyer is going to be really strong. You're qualified, your home's ready to close, and now we can start making really strong offers on the buy side. Does that make sense?
Yep, it makes sense. The market's got me kind of gun shy.
Yeah, I get it. Does that information on the market help you though, now that you kind of can put facts with it, rather than, because there are a lot of people that are worried, but with the facts then now they feel a lot more comfortable. Does that help you feel comfortable?
A little bit more, but I don't know. I think I might hold off a little bit.
How about
That's what he says.
No, that's good. How about this? Let's set up a meeting so that I can see your house, and let's just see what it's worth. And if that could be helpful in and of itself. And
I already did that. I already made him sign a paper.
So do they know how much their house is worth?
Yeah, it's like around 500,000.
Yeah. Okay, so if they know that, and you give them those kind of stats and they're still unwilling to sell, it is unbelievably how great the market is right now that even it blows my mind too. So it is something that we as realtors have to shout it from the rooftops. You guys have to take your Cromford Report classes through these title companies and learn how great this market is, because it's unbelievable. I'm going to share with you what this bulletin is that we're sending out to all our people right now. Let me share this with you. It is just really good stats.
Doty, as you're looking in the chat box, Christina was wondering, what about the market for an 800K plus home? What have you seen that looking for? And maybe you're going to show that a little bit in your flyer.
Yeah, I am going to show you that in this thing. That's a good question. I have a $900,000 house, and we lost showings a lot in for that first 4 weeks, and now we're getting about 3 showings a week.
Yeah.
So now it has nothing to do with COVID. If it doesn't sell after 10 people, if we don't get an offer after 10 people look at it, then it's priced too high. Yeah. Lower the dang price and follow normal real estate rules, right? It has nothing to do with COVID. We're getting tons of showings. So there's the next piece. You go back to your normal way of price reductions and stuff like that. And there's at some point, these sellers can't keep using COVID as their reason they're not selling their house. It's because it's priced too dang high.
Right.
I really want to find this for you guys. It's really, really good.
I think that was a great, I hope you guys were taking notes, and it's on recording too, to go back and to really listen to those last 2 role plays. The way that Cody, we've been talking a lot. We do objection handlers. We've been practicing in Ignite, how she really did acknowledge it, address it, isolate it, and continue to go for the close. If you guys heard, I think I heard her go for the close of an appointment, I think 3 times. So keeping in mind, even at the end, she just, how about I just come over and we talk about what your house is worth, and just continue to drip. It sounds like, Amy, that you just have to continue to drip the good news about the market to individuals that are responding that way.
Absolutely. And real news, right? Like if it's not a good time for them to sell, then we're going to have to find a different angle, right? But now it is a good time to sell. Can you guys see this? Am I sharing my screen?
Yeah, we can see.
Okay, so this is what we're sending out to our, a ton of, our sphere is basically what's going to get this. And we just got this from the Cromford Report recently. We're in the 3rd week in a row of increased counts of new contracts. That's awesome. That's up 32% since April 5th. Still down a little bit, but only 19.7 since February 23rd, when this kind of really started taking hold. No new spikes in escrow fallout, so people are seeing it through to a successful closing. Sellers are retaining their values, so those buyers that think our market's going to tank, there's no sign of that right now, 0. Maybe they're going to be able to get some concessions now, maybe. But from everything I'm feeling, it's a tough go to make sure you're getting the best and have the best leverage to buy a house, which cash is going to be your best right now. List price reductions. So again, price reductions are not coming, there are not a ton of them happening. So that's good news. This part, sales volume is suffering due to a 39% drop in contract activity within the first 6 weeks of the stock market crash. But they're saying it's going to rebound with the last 3 weeks of increases in new contracts. And they're seeing it. Cromford, they're so data oriented that this is not just puff. This is real data that's so awesome. And then prices have adjusted slightly, but extremely minor. And then here, this kind of talks about these specific price ranges and what they did this week. This is a big positive, because look at all that price change since April 5th, all gone up. If you guys have any chance, and I can't remember her name right now, I'm so embarrassed, from the Cromford Report, if you every single time you find that she's doing a class, listen to those every single time. Because we are very lucky in the Phoenix Metro to have the Cromford Report and have these people dive in so deep with data in real estate. And then you send this stuff out and it's kind of obscure a little bit, and they're like, well, what does this mean exactly? Well, guess what? That's a call to me to help explain. oh, well, this is this. What price range are you in? Da, da, da. So it's really good stuff. And we pulled that directly from, and then here's a prospectus that we're sending all those people to. And we're just talking about everything that's going on in the market. This thing is, I'm so proud of this. I can't even tell you.
Awesome.
It is. It's so awesome. It's a whole big prospectus on COVID and real estate in the economy and all that. And then the bulletin is more focused on Phoenix Metro itself. And these are going out to about 750 people that we're sending this. So cool.
Cody, do you know at our office, I think we still, and I guess this probably is me a question for David, I think as an office, we have a login to that. So, and I think that just so you guys that are listening, I think that's something that David's really working on getting incorporated into some of our team meetings to share. So you can take the slides that Veronica shares afterwards so that you're not spending money on your own subscription and kind of using what we have. And I know I actually took the screenshot from Kelly Cook's Facebook yesterday, that bottom graph, Cody, that you just shared from the Cromford report.
Yeah.
I'll post it up into our Facebook group, guys that are listening, for you guys to grab too, and continue to work on getting information to share out on a regular basis so that not everybody is spending money on the Cromford report this time too, because I think it's valuable information. But if you can use our market center as leverage in terms of letting us get that information to you, I think that would be great because it'll save you financially too.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I agree. That would be really, really good. And then I think it was, Eric, was it you that you're doing Facebook ads?
Yeah, that's correct. Oh, and just as a note, the name you were looking for was Tina Tambor.
Oh, yes. Thank you. Tina. Thank you, Eric. Attaboy.
Yes.
Love it.
Yes.
So I wanted to share with Eric a little bit in time, right? We all have only 24 hours a day. So the learning how to do Facebook ads and figuring all that out takes a whole lot of time. And Facebook in general it has not proven to be an amazing lead gen for us. We've used it. We used it heavily about 3 years ago. And so my point of telling you that is I just want you to make sure you're time blocking that space. Like an hour a day, that's it. And then other than that, you need to be on the phones with live calls, because that's what's going to get you a deal far faster than those Facebook ads. I'm not saying not do it, but I am saying don't put all your eggs in that basket, because it's going to prove to be a very slow process for you.
I have some other ideas I'm going to run by Jackie, but with the crisis going on, and it seems like Facebook is a great option. Might as well try it and learn about it.
Yeah. And I'm going to tell you guys too, as you build your business, because of the space you're in right now, just starting, do everything you can to learn how to create your own online leads. Do not get yourself to the point where you are willing to pay for lead gen. I spend a ton of money on lead gen right now, and I did with Zillow too, and got totally screwed with Zillow, right? I was spending, I think we were up to $8,000 a month with Zillow, and all of a sudden they stopped that, and now they take 30% off the top of every lead that we get through them. And we don't pay them anymore, but now we have to pay that 30%. And, make no mistake, these companies are going to follow. So if your business relies on somebody else to do your lead gen for you, not a good business model. And I'm telling you that from already what I know, and I'm doing it. So I wouldn't build it the same way if I had to do it again.
So Cody, when you get those type of fees from Zillow at 30%, you consider that just, you write that off as a referral fee, basically? They're giving you a lead, but you're paying a 30% referral fee to get that lead?
That's exactly right. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay, guys, moving next. Signing the buyer agreement. Okay, so signing the buyer agreement, of course, you guys heard in those role plays, you ask for the business. I mean, that's all I do is ask for the business. Sometimes it's the first thing I say, and it's like kind of off-putting to people. So that is a definite ask for the business. Love the second one for a close. Does tomorrow at 3 p.m. or Friday at 1 p.m. work better for you? You give them two options, they're going to pick one. It is a natural reaction to pick one. So it's almost a subliminal thing that just flat out works. So use that option if you can, always. And then have they been pre-approved to purchase a home by a lender? Yeah. In the notes here for me to say this, I didn't realize if you ask that to only one person and you don't ask that to the other 10 you speak with, then you're not following the fair housing laws. I didn't know that until I was reading these notes for this presentation. So we ask it all the time because we don't want to waste time, right? We don't want to waste time with people that aren't qualified, but it has to be part of your norm, not just one person. You got to ask them all. And I will tell you this, this is the line I use all the time. I say, okay, are you guys pre-qualified? And they'll say no, inevitably they'll say no. And I'm like, okay, it's the not so fun part. I know that. The money's just kind of the boring part of this. It's so much more fun to look at houses. And we'll do that. But can we do the not so fun part right now? And then we'll get to that, because doesn't it make sense if we know what we can qualify for before we get out there? People don't disagree with me. Of course they agree with that, because it's the truth, and it isn't fun. It's not fun filling out a loan application. It's a pain in the butt. And it's not fun putting all your documents together. So call it like it is, tell them what it is, and then they love you more because you were straight up about it, and then you can move forward with the fun stuff, which is fun to look at homes. That's what people want to do, is want to look at homes. All right. Any recap and ahas? How you guys, any questions, thoughts? We're past our time and I gotta go too. So any thoughts or questions you guys have?
Do you mind just stopping the share for so we can see everybody, Cody? And
yes.
Gotta get, I always, at the end, we always have at least 3 people share something that they learned or a takeaway or gratitude. So if at least 3 of you guys could hop on and share for Cody real fast, that would be awesome.
The role playing that you did, I thought was great. Like it flowed really nice, and like I learned what to say basically, how you go about it. Really helpful.
Okay, that's so good. Thank you, Carrie, for saying that. That's great.
I agree. That was the biggest aha for me, was how quickly the role play, the comebacks and how to respond to the questions or statements.
Yeah,
that's so amazing to me. So when people and Keller Williams, you guys, they really strongly talk about role play. I never prescribed to it. Like I just wasn't. I didn't want to waste my time. So I learned all that stuff by just getting on those phones and making those calls. And I didn't make the same mistake twice, right? You make a mistake and you're like, I know right where I went wrong and when the conversation went sideways. So the next one, I didn't make that same mistake. What the coaches in Keller Williams and this stuff, when I share that, like with Cody Gibson, he's like, well, okay, that's a really expensive mistake you just made that you could have done in role play. And I'm like, okay, fair enough. So there's the kind of toss up. It's just two schools of thought, but let me tell you, I've talked to a gazillion people, right? And I got there really fast because of that commitment to making those calls and speaking to people. So it works. Anybody else? Any last minute yays or questions?
Objection handling. That was a lot of objection handling.
Yeah.
And I think how much you can learn from these objections is amazing.
Yeah.
Just amazing.
Yep.
Yeah. So thank you. Yeah.
You're welcome. And I find that D personality in me and wanting to know those stats and that data give me the confidence to be able to say those things.
That was my other thing. I didn't know if we could access that. I know there's one computer in the office that we can use, but as new agents in a PCX program, I quite don't know how to access that because I'm a data person too. I love that, knowing my numbers before I represent the facts.
Yep.
So.
Yep. And so Ambika, am I saying that right?
Yes.
Yeah. So for you, like, don't wait for someone to answer the question. Just ask the question. Hey, Jackie, how do I get my data? I want to be able to talk to these people with more data. She will have the answer and put you in the right direction. But yeah, and probably until right now, you didn't know to ask that question. So, you know, you're doing the work to get to that.
I did, but frankly, this whole situation is kind of put me on a setback where I would like to learn more about that data before I post it on social media.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know,
yeah,
where it's coming from, really, like, you know.
Yeah, because you need to be able to have the conversation around it when people call you about it. Yeah. Yes. And I will tell you, I don't get a ton of calls from social media, and we are everywhere. So again, I'm going to go back to that. Do not rely on that to build your business. It's not going to do it for you.
Right.
It will be helpful, and it will keep your name in front of people, but it's the phone call that is the trick. All right, you guys, I got to go.
Thank you, Cody, so much for taking time out of your block this morning. We appreciate you.
You guys too. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
You too.
All right, you guys, that was amazing. And I love that you got to hear that live role play of the objection handlers, and hopefully that's encouraging too, to continue as we bring them up and ignite, to keep jumping in and sharing, because I think there are so many takeaways from all of us that can jump in and attack it and get different ideas for responses to handle those objections. So I appreciate you guys. The questions were phenomenal that you asked, and I think by continuing to ask good questions like that, we all more informed and get lots of great ideas. So definitely keep that up. Before Kate jumps on, I know we have about 10 minutes. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to command, because I think we heard a lot of great objection handling from Cody. So I'm going to go into command again and talk a little bit today about opportunities. And then I'm going to carry this over to another Ignite session, because I actually loved what Cody was saying on, you're going to see when we set up this opportunity, how she has her sections laid out in command or in her organizer of buyers, how she has that hot buyer, right? Ready, willing, able within 30 days. Her nurturers that are ready, or not, excuse me, not ready, but they're able and they're willing, but they're not going to be ready for the next about 90 days. And then she has her watch people, and her watch people are, you know, they're willing, but they're not quite ready yet. And they're kind of, you know, 91 days to a year time frame, and really talking about how you can utilize this opportunity section as your pipeline, so to speak, to organize those people into different categories. And I think what was another really important part about that she said, she has 10,000 people in her database. She doesn't have 10,000 people in her pipeline, in her hot nurture watch. She said she has about 100, right? And that might look like 10 for you right now, right? You might know, you might be able to think off the top of your head 5 people that told you that they're going to be looking in the next year. And we're going to talk about how we can organize that in the opportunities section as well. So that's something I want you to know that's going to be up and coming. But I thought that was really important to go back and hit on, because then there are certain smart plans as we're learning, right, that we can create our own smart plans. We can go in and we can create now that buyer that's 90 days to a year out, we're nurturing, we're going to make sure that we have a smart plan for them. And we can mastermind and talk about, okay, what does that smart plan look like? And how is that different from somebody that's within the next 90 days? Within the next 90 days, I'm maybe reaching out bi-weekly, right? Maybe the 90 to a year, I'm reaching out monthly. My buyers that are in the next 30 days, we're having a conversation at the very least once a week, probably a couple times a week, because we're going out and looking at homes most likely. So that can all be managed in this section called opportunities. So again, it was that handshaking applet, and then you're going to see you've got it set up in listings, buyers, and leases. Okay, and if you missed it before, opportunities, the easiest way to think about this is, if you want to make money, if you want to get your check, you have to have it in opportunities. So if you've taken any of Kate's compliance classes and DocuSign classes, you know that it starts here in command. So the first thing you have to do is you have to make sure that whomever you're working with, you've created them as a contact already. After you have your contact, okay, there's a couple different ways that you can go about it. You can go right to this opportunity page, which is what I'm going to show you today, or you can actually do it when you're working inside of your contact as well on their little homepage. We're going to go to create opportunity here. Okay, the opportunity is going to open up. It's going to look like this. We're leaving this. It's Market Center, Scottsdale, SW. Leave it just like it shows up. If you're on a team, it would be set up so that you can select a team. We're individual agents, most of us on this call, so we don't have a team. We're leaving that. Anything with the red asterisks, you need to make sure that you have filled out. So since we were working with buyers today, let's just say we're working with a buyer. Okay, the owner of this opportunity is me. So that already filled in. Here's where I need to put my client. So I'm searching for somebody that's in my database already. I've already created Mark as a contact. So that's why his name is showing up. If you didn't have that person in your database already as a contact, they won't show up there. So kind of going back to step one in Ignite is make sure that they're already created as a contact. If there's a co-buyer, you can put the co-buyer in that section, but again, that co-buyer also has to already be a contact in command. Okay, here's a really huge piece, and those of you that have taken a compliance class know Kate says this like 5 times a class because it's so important. I'm going to reiterate it because of how important it is. On the opportunity name, okay, you can have the last name, you can have the full name, but the must-have is the address. And we understand when you're working with buyers that you don't know the address right away because you don't know what you're submitting a purchase contract on. You can come back to the opportunity. You can click on it and you can edit this. So as soon as you go under contract on a home, you need to come in here and you need to put the address of the home. And the reason we do that is because we have over 300 agents in our office. And when Kate is trying to find properties and find the green sheets and locate everything, she looks it up by the address. So if the address isn't on there, she's got to read through literally the hundreds. And if people aren't putting the address in, she has to read through hundreds of names and then go back and cross, the word that I can't, it's not coming to me. Cross, you know what I mean? She's got to cross check. There we go. Okay. So on the listing's easy because that address is never going to change, right? The house that you're listing. So you can put the listing address in right away. So that's the big thing, opportunity name. If you know these things, you can go ahead and fill out an estimated close date. If you, like on my buyer, maybe I know the buyer is ready in 6 months, so I can put that there. But again, the only things that you have to fill out are the things that have the red asterisks, okay? So I don't want you to beat yourself up over the other stuff. That address is huge and just having something in this box. The commission rate is what you're personally making, okay? Before I keep going, I saw a question pop up and just want to make sure. Ooh, sorry. I'm saying sorry, but you can see what I was hitting. Okay. Yes, thank you, Eric. Make sure to include the city as well. Don't just put an address because that you are correct in stating that that is going to be hard to find. Great. Okay. So down here, we're going to talk about the phases and the stages in another time, but just so you know, right now, you guys, it just needs to say something there. Don't worry about this part. Okay, don't get held up on it. The fact is we need to have the opportunity created. So we'll address the phase and the stage on another date, but it's not going to mess anything up. So you're going to choose create, and then it's going to bring you to the opportunity, like the sheet here. Okay, this is the buyer sheet. Here's the details, and it pulled information that I had just put into that form. If I had other information in there, I could share it. If I want to go in and edit and put in the property information, I can go ahead and do it there. Okay, buyer profile sheet, it should be all the, this is showing, this is really cool. Actually, we discovered this on a call yesterday. The buyer profile sheet is actually talking about your consumer app. So we discussed that a little bit yesterday. You can see that He's not registered with my consumer app, even though I sent it to him. He's not registered. And then you can see, like we talked about that guide yesterday and how you can go and check off steps. If they're assigned a guide and if they're actually using it, this information would show up here. The most important part of the opportunity is this Documents tab, okay? So when we're in the Documents tab, we're looking at the side here. You've got residential, or the checklist type. We're working with a residential purchase, okay? And when I do that, Kate has all of the files, okay? Everything in here. It's kind of like your little, almost like your little checklist, even though we have quite a few of them in our shared drive, right? This is another spot for you to check, okay, what do I need to make sure that after I get it signed, that I bring in to command, right? If I'm just consulting with a buyer, I know I've got to get my real estate agency disclosure and election, my buyer's advisory, my buyer broker employment agreement, my pre-qual, and then all of our KWAZ forms. So you'll find those also in the under contract. So most of the time I just work from this tab because you don't have to add them in multiple spots, okay? You can add the file and then submit to the market center, which we'll talk about in just a second. And you know what, actually I'm gonna talk about that now. Let's say you have a buyer's consultation, okay, and you get the buyer broker, the buyer advisory, you get those 4 documents in our consultation, you get those signed, okay? If those are signed, I want you to Kate, and Kate does too, we want you to upload that because you have a signed agreement. So legally, we need to share that. We need to get that information within 24 to 36 hours, 48 hours to Kate so that she has her window that if she and the brokerage were to get questioned about it, she can have proof that it's there. So basically think of it as part of your system. When I get the paper signed in DocuSign, I'm gonna upload them into Command. Okay, so as soon as you upload these things, right, the election, the advisory, the employment agreement, once they're signed, this button will light up, which I'll show you in a minute, submit to MC, and you'll click it. You'll submit it to the market center. Kate will review it, and if there's anything, any questions she has or comments, she'll be able to send it back to you with comments and say that something's either missed. She would only send it back if something's missing. If everything's fine, great, stamp, you're good to go. Okay, so with this being said, once I got my person, once I have Marks in here as a buyer, the Documents tab, I need to set up the paperwork for him to sign, okay? So Command stores your files. Command is your file cabinet, and Command makes sure you get paid. DocuSign is where you go to actually type in and prepare the paperwork, and that's how they e-sign it. So when you click Start a Transaction, it's going to bring you from Command into DocuSign.
This video is brought to you by Keller Williams Arizona Realty TV. If you like this video, please check out some of the other amazing videos on our channel, like and subscribe. And if you'd like to find out more information about our office, Keller Williams Arizona Realty, please check out the contact info in the description below. Thank you.